Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm excited to be back with you today. I'm Shellen Brion. I'm part of the Supermoms team, and I have with me today Heather Black, the CEO and founder of Supermoms, and the best-selling author of Become a Super Salesforce Consultant. And we are, yes, beautiful book and getting rave reviews from all around the world. And we have been working through this A to Z guide. And today we are to how to run a great Salesforce demo. And I know you're going to share, Heather, kind of when would you be having the opportunity to do demos? When does that really benefit the consultant?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, well, people quite often think about a demo as part of the sales pitch initially, right? You have a demo when you're thinking about buying a product. But the reality is that it's not just something that's done at the sales point. It's really important to be able to deliver a really good demonstration of what Salesforce could do. And this might be the Sales Cloud, it might be Service Cloud, it might be other products at the business analysis process. So everybody that's going to be in your business analysis workshops, you want to have delivered a demo to them, whether it's a pre-recorded one or a live one. It's up to you. Could be live and then recorded and sent out to everybody. So there's that touch point, and then you've got the testing. So you're going to do another demo of how the product works during the quality testing phase, and then they're going to work through it and practice it and follow your cue. And then you're going to be training end users. And at each of these points, your job is to get different stakeholders engaged and enthused and feeling like this is amazing. I can't wait to learn more. Like, you've got to excite them. So the sales using a demo to sell to the initial stakeholder is one part of it. But as a Salesforce consultant, you've got to be able to sell Salesforce to these different people at different stages. And at the outset, it's so important because obviously they're all sat there really nervous, wondering, what on earth's going to happen in this design workshop? Is it going to meet our needs? People are going to be scared, worried, confused, angry, potentially. And so reassuring them at this point is really important. So that's why it's really important to be able to deliver on it.
That really brings me back to my first experience being a leadership team that was evaluating different vendors, and Salesforce was one of them. And that process of seeing what was possible and just being able to envision what our life could be like, how many hours were going to be saved, that really that made everything. But I did notice in our process, it didn't happen later in. It was that front end process. But as the team, it rolled out to the teams, we didn't have that demo. And your words are making me think about how much more effective it would have been, because we were met with that sort of resistance and worry and not very many people excited, actually. So is there a way to think about the difference of that front end sales process demo? And if you're part of that type of team that may do that on the front end, of how it's different, how you approach demos differently once you're, it's with a customer or you're further along in the process?
Yeah. So one of the things that's really important to happen is that there is a good handover between the sales team and the delivery team, effectively. It might be you wearing both hats, don't get me wrong. But when you design a demo for the business analysis kickoff, if you like, it's prepping them for the workshop. And the reason it's important to include a demo, and it's interesting, Shellen, that you said you didn't have that, is that in your workshop, you're going to have different stakeholders and they have different learning styles. So some people are visual learners. They need to see what you're talking about in order to understand what you're asking of them. So giving a demo and showing them the different kinds of reports and dashboards will go, oh, I see what you're asking for. Okay, well, I want a graph like that can do this and can do this. Whereas if you just say to them, I want reports and dashboards, what do you want? They'll be like, they can't get it. They can't grasp it because they haven't seen, an example. And also what kind of graphs are possible in Salesforce, right? Because you've got disparate, we've got probably, I think it's 8 different ones. It feels like an exam question. I don't know the answer. I'm gonna have to go and look now, like how many different kinds of graphs dashboards. Anybody who's listening, please put it in the chat. So you want a dashboard that shows all the different kind of charts on your demo, because then you can say to them, I'm going to come into this design workshop and I'm going to ask you what reports and dashboards that you need. And this is an example of all the different charts you could get. Similarly, I'm going to ask you what email templates you might want that will trigger off. And here's an example of an email template and what it could look like. So you're bringing it to life for people who are visual learners. If you have it in a recording and you do a recording or you deliver it live as a demo, you're also meeting those people that are audio. They need to hear things as well as the visual. Audio digital need to know why, what's in it for them, what's the business reason for this. So I'll talk a little bit about the narrative that we have to include in a moment. And then you've got kinesthetic learners. So the kinesthetic learners, you might want to give them a trailhead to do so they can get their hands dirty and start playing with Sales Cloud and learn a little bit more about the product a little bit. Because they'll say they like to get their hands dirty. Yeah. With kinesthetic, though, you can also give them something to read or to look at. They like to touch, feel, have a play. So a trailhead module around Sales Cloud or Service Cloud, an introduction to, could be a great way for them, that kinesthetic people, as a bit of a follow-on exercise. So you're using the demo to engage with those different people, but also in your narrative, you're wanting to empathize with them, to say, I'm here today to we're going to implement Sales Cloud because I understand the current challenges and business needs we have is we want to allow for online payment integration, and we want to be able to see the sales forecast clearly, so everybody's got that in place, and we want to get e-signature solutions in place so we can get contracts signed quickly. And all of this is going to really boost your team sales performance, which means you get your sales quicker, you hit your targets quicker, you get more bonuses, like everybody's happy. Like I always talk about the word happy, like I'm here to make you happier is my favorite tagline. So, you've got to use that in your narrative. So you set that tone up front, and then you say, I'm going to show you how this is all going to work in the system. So it brings it to life. And then what we're going to do is go through your processes in detail. What it's worth, what you want is dashboard data. You want dummy data in your system that's going to show that increase in sales, that, that positive psychology and that positive vision. So you can say, here's a dashboard here that I made earlier that's going to show your sales doubling every year. So you're planting it in their head, like they're already seeing this success. Got data that's showing that success. And so it's just really these little bits of detail that just make such a difference to getting people on board and engaged, and having the company's logo and the branding in the background, the colors, and using their terminology as well. Now, at a design stage, you won't have all of that, but certainly by user testing and the training of the system should be speaking their language and their processes. Whereas at the business analysis stage, you might want to say to them, well, the system I'm showing you is a bit of the vanilla one, but what we're going to do is customize it to meet more of your needs. And I'm just showing you some of the features that I'm going to be sharing with you as you go through. So that's some of the tips that I've got in the chapter in the book around how to create a really good demo.
Excellent. And I know that kind of ties into the consultancy course that you also run. And one of the opportunities is to, practice the demos and having those opportunities and getting feedback from you. What would you say tends to be the 3 things that people do really well once they learn this, like that they do differently from perhaps when they started with how they might approach a demo on the front end versus after learning these tools?
Yeah, well, the word started resonates with me, makes me laugh, because we put it in as a compulsory thing on the course initially to do a demo, and then everybody just shied away from it. like, this is going to be your job. Like, you have to do it every day. Like, if you're going to go in and deliver business analysis workshops and training workshops, you're going to be delivering a demo every day. So we put it in the course because I just want people to practice it in a safe space and be good at it. And I think also, in hindsight of my own journey, creating these good demos at the outset is you just need like 2 or 3 really good orgs. So if you're practicing, if you're studying for your Sales Cloud certification, don't learn the Sales Cloud theoretically. Like, create your demo org, have all the features, make it look amazing. And then you've got that demo there to repurpose for any workshop you've got in the future. Same with Service Cloud, build something out with all the bells and whistles, and then you can start to, just repurpose it. You don't want to be in a situation where you're building out a demo for every single workshop you're doing. You kind of want your little portfolio of demos that you can just change the logo on and change the tabs or just manipulate the data a little bit. And the reason I wanted my trainees to do this was also because we were working with them to get their Sales Cloud certification and Service Cloud. And you never want to be in a situation where you've got your exam and never worked with the product or never built it out, because you don't really understand the product, and you can't say in an interview, oh, I've got my badge, but I've never done anything with the product, and it's pointless, right? And actually Salesforce advocate that you've worked with the product for 6 months or so before you get your cert, because then you have really understood it. It's not a validation of, I've got my cert, let's work with the product. It's kind of like, let's work with the product, get my cert, and then you're an expert in using it. That's when you're worth, it's worth the weight in gold. Yes. And so I really encourage everybody to sort of get their product set up.
Well, I can imagine for those that are really looking to pivot into consulting, I mean, certainly it's key for those in that, but building that out and practicing those demos, or even being able to showcase that during an interview process or even a follow-up, could be a great way to stand out amongst other candidates.
Absolutely. And what takes a little bit of practice as well. And I did this. I mean, I've designed training programs now, but it can feel, if you're pre-recording a demo as opposed to doing it live with somebody listening, it can be a different experience for yourself. So you can really sort of, you could do a demo and you're recording it by yourself, and you can I got this wrong, I got that right and wrong. And you feel like you're pre-recording the thing at like 10 times over. But the reality is, again, you're going to have to do a lot of pre-recorded videos in your job, because you're going to do pre-recorded training videos and everything like that. So you need to be comfortable with pre-recording a demo and sending it out to people to say, look, really looking forward to working with you in this upcoming design workshop. These are things I'm going to be asking of you. I'm now going to have a BA questionnaire. So you'd say, right, here's a BA questionnaire with all the questions we're going to be asking you. Here's a quick demo that's going to explain what some of these questions are and how they relate. Watch the demo. And that's your easiest quick win. And that if you've got a demo that you've done, then you can repurpose that demo, right, several times, which hence you want their logo in it and things, to be fair. But you just got to get used to doing it, and you do it over and over again, and then it becomes second nature.
I think that is awkward as it is, recording and then watching yourself back and being able to just see where you're strong and making your points and telling that story and bringing that energy that you explained. I think that's so smart, and I'm sure is not done often in terms of being very purposeful of what's in the demo or showing those outcomes. At least in my experience, I didn't experience that, and would have made a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for anybody listening, don't assume that you can do this straight away off the bat and be perfect. It's like being in an acting class. You practice. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. And the book and the chapter, has a detailed checklist of things to include in that demo. It gives you all the tips that you need, things to think about, think through methodically how to do it, practice. And that's what's going to make you perfect, to make you super. Like, you're not going to be brilliant at this tomorrow, but if you apply all the techniques and practice it, you are going to be super and brilliant at doing them within a month's time. And that's where you want to be. We only ever get good at something if we practice it, and also being very mindful about how we actually do it. And that's going to build your rapport with the stakeholders. It's going to get their buy-in. It's going to get them excited. You're going to have a better outcome all round. And so it's worth the time.
Perfect. Well, where can people find your book?
Well, the link is in the description of the live. So in the LinkedIn Live or wherever you're watching from, you can find the URL for the book. So please do find out more. There's a whole heap of resources as well that you can download from the book, and also information about our course, the consultancy skills course. If you're interested in that, this is where I teach all of this through a combination of on-demand and live training as well. So always happy to help you upskill to become a super Salesforce consultant and to help you win effectively at job interviews that you want to do. So I hope that's been useful for you all. So some great tips in the book, and look forward to seeing how you get on with your demos. Thank you, Shellen.
Yes, thank you. See you next week.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week. Bye.